Chinese officials, meanwhile, say that the Biden administration must lift sanctions against Beijing if it wants to reopen any communication between the two militaries. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is confirming what we've been reporting on this program, that China's spy flight, which flew across the country earlier this year for a week, was loaded with American-made technology. Joining me right now is Atlas Organization founder and author of The Decisive Decade, Jonathan Ward is here. Jonathan, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Hi, Maria. Good to be with you.
And you've made the point before, and others have on this program, that the contents, some of the contents in that spy balloon were American-made, and these American companies are enabling the Chinese Communist Party and its efforts to overtake the United States, perhaps unwittingly. Your reaction?
Well, Maria, we shouldn't be surprised by this sort of thing. When you trade with your adversaries, when you invest in your adversaries, when you give them access to your technology, eventually it's all going to be used against us. I think that's going to be par for the course at this point. I mean, if we were to dissect the Chinese military, I mean, many of the advancements they have made wouldn't be possible without similar advancements around the world. So the design copy, the technology theft, all of that ultimately has a purpose, which is to build up their comprehensive national power. That includes their military power, their ability to conduct intelligence. I mean, they have no problem with using anything we give them against us in the long run. So if we're just starting to see the connection here through the spy balloon, it's going to be a much bigger picture. And this is why we have to start to change the relationship. And as they said, they want us to remove sanctions in order to talk with them. They know that American economic power is the only thing that can stop them. Access to our economy, to our technology, to our capital, that's what's enabled them to go from an agrarian nation to a military and industrial superpower at this point. They couldn't have done it without us, and they won't succeed any further without us. So that's why we have to get serious about stopping this. I mean, economic engagement with China has brought us the rise of the most significant military, in the last, since the Cold War. Yeah. Certainly, and it's a military that's designed for use against us. So we're going to see all of that come back. In a very bad way.
And this is why we've mentioned so many times the fact that the thrift fund, for example, the 401k for government employees has the ability, gives the ability to invest in Chinese companies, and they do so. And can you imagine government employees investing in the very companies that are on sanctioned lists here in America, and they're investing and, in fact, unwittingly enabling and expanding the CCP's reach. You've got NVIDIA's chief financial officer, meanwhile, warning of potential new U.S. restrictions on AI chip exports to China, and that will result in a permanent loss of opportunities for the U.S. to compete and lead the market. Some American companies are looking to India as well. I want to get to that in a moment, but what are your thoughts on the potential of some kind of limitations to investing in China and limitations to exporting AI-related chips to China? Do you think we'll actually see that materialize? We've been hearing about it from the administration, but nothing so far.
Look, I think eventually, yes, these things have to be done. I mean, there is a big focus on technology in Washington, so people do understand that that's one of the most significant elements of the competition. It's not the only thing. I mean, we've got to go broader than that. We have to think about their general industrial base. We're going to need an industrial base that works. And companies that have long-term China strategies are going to be badly burned. I mean, many fortunes will be lost in China if people don't pull out. The old strategy that was, I think, pretty common across management consulting of, go to China, sort of become the #1 player in the world's second largest market, and that enables you to have the globally most advanced position as a company. I mean, that's not a real strategy in a time of geopolitical conflict. So I think people are being sold a lot of terrible strategies right now, and they have to do the long-term thinking differently. I mean, the China market is not going to be a real market for many of our companies. It's going to be a market in which they lose their technology. That technology gets repurposed into Chinese competitors and sent around the world. Then they lose their other growth markets. So it's a bad corporate strategy. I mean, NVIDIA, they're going to miss this opportunity because it is completely counter to U.S. national security. At this point, the whole question of witting or unwitting, it's winning. Come on. I mean, it's time for us to get the picture. Business leaders need to get on the right side. No more foolishness.
Well, I mean, Jonathan, look, the CCP is now efforting a spy base and perhaps training facility in Cuba, 100 miles away from the Florida coastline. I mean, that in and of itself, shouldn't that be an issue that the administration raises and says that maybe this could cost China access to the U.S. capital markets? Instead, China has access to all of our capital markets and encourages investors to fund the expansion of communist China. But we're not hearing that. Instead, what are we hearing? We're hearing China make threats to America. Either take away the sanctions or we won't have any communications between our military. That's what we're hearing right now. I mean, Anthony Blinken travels all the way to China to meet with officials there, has a meeting with Xi Jinping. But just to get that meeting, they had to make concessions.
Well, look, we obviously don't have a real China strategy. We're not trying to win. I mean, you have to be able to win this contest. I mean, that's what I laid out in the Decisive Decade. We need an economic strategy that will put them behind us, advance ourselves, and hold them back. You can do that. You have to bring the allies along, but they are still, not leading us in the most important things. And we're going to have to ensure that we maintain these advantages and get ready to beat these guys. I mean, these are our total adversaries. They see themselves winning a total picture for geopolitical power, surpassing the United States. I mean, beating us militarily, ultimately, handing us a war that we can't win later on once they've, secured the economic position that they're looking for. And if we're not willing to take that on in the 2020s, we're going to get a pretty horrible picture in the future. So it's time to get serious about this. And no, we shouldn't be making concessions just to talk to our enemies. I mean, that is a non-strategy.
People say that it will almost surely be followed by a major Chinese naval port facility and the deployment of actual nuclear-tipped missiles in Cuba. Jonathan, where is this going? And do you see an increasing interest in moving supply chains to India? I mean, does India even have that kind of infrastructure for American companies?
Well, look, India is going to be a significant opportunity. I mean, we need another major growth center. I mean, India's potential to go from $3.75 trillion economy today to, let's say, 10 trillion over time, or 12 or beyond. I mean, we need another major growth center that can do, global supply chains, advanced technology. I mean, they've got that benefit. I mean, they're really capable on that front. That this is a good thing that has just happened, is the U.S.-India relationship is really flourishing right now. The Modi visit last week to Washington was a great success. I mean, a lot of MOUs were signed. I mean, a lot of sort of technology-focused and defense-focused agreements are being put in place. I mean, we have a pretty robust relationship there, and I think they need to work on their geopolitical alignment so that ultimately choosing between the multipolar world, which is popular among many Indian diplomats, versus joining the free world side, becoming closer with the United States. I mean, there's a very definite path for India. I think we both stand to benefit enormously, and our companies should be looking there. I mean, to be focused on China now as, geopolitical tensions continue to get worse, and there's nothing that's really going to stop that, honestly. But, that's not going to be the right position for the 2020s and certainly beyond that. But for India, I mean, there's a major opportunity now for American companies. I think people are starting to see that, and to have good long-term, real growth strategies means getting into India, going across the emerging world, and partnering with the U.S. on competition against China. And in the meantime, the more that our companies are on our side, the more that it's going to enable U.S. government to make the right economic moves. We're going to need to get our business leaders to play ball on that. So.
Okay. Jonathan, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for your insights always on the China threat. Jonathan Ward joining us.